Hi, everybody. JP here from Analytics to Insights. Our company is called Modernizing Management, and we have the Analytics to Insights service. Thank you for joining our webinar today. We have Juan Visser and Jason Coggon here on the panel with us today. So we'll be introducing the two panelists in a second. What I just want to do is to launch a poll. So we're going to have a couple of polls here today so that we can just see who's doing what and maybe get some feedback. So if you can, the poll should launch with the first question. So if you can please give us your answers. Are you what do you think will impact an accounting business the most? Is it the customer requirements that are changing? Is it compliance requirements that are changing? Is it technology that's changing? Or is it things like artificial intelligence, for instance? So if you can please vote over there, then we can see how the votes turn out. So far, technology is taking the lead. Yeah. Okay. So keep on voting over there. Then what we can do is go back to the presentation. Joe, so if you just take us to the next slides, please. So what we'll do is we'll just do an introduction of Jean and then Jason, and then we'll talk about the new frontier, the new business, the challenges, the opportunities. Jean has reached 80% productivity improvement in his business, which is huge. I mean, John, that's kind of crazy stuff, crazy number. So welcome. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us today, and really looking forward to having a good conversation with you today. Yeah. So.
Great. Thanks.
Great. Thanks. So if you maybe do a quick introduction of BDK Software Solutions, John.
So hi everyone, I'm Juan Visser and I'm from BDK Software Solutions. So we basically provide an advisory consulting service to clients and accountants out there on cloud accounting. We specialize in numerous cloud accounting apps, and we try to make most of cloud accounting, migrating clients from current desktop-based products to cloud, and optimizing and making clients more productive and efficient based on their daily needs. So yeah, that's about what BDK does.
So you're doing lots of training. What type of services? If we go to the next slide, Jay. So there's the story. We have a one-pager on our site, everybody. So if you want to join that or download that, just go to our site. You can see the one-pager story about Jean's success. So you have some products that you integrate to, John. We have them on the screen now. Maybe you can talk us a little bit through this.
We basically decided we're going to specialize in the two most used cloud accounting apps out there, Sage Business Cloud and Xero, we all know. And we migrate mostly clients from a Sage Pastel system to one of these cloud accounting apps. And then we start integrating all of the other apps based on the client's needs. So for example, we use Approval Max for approval workflow needs. Should a client require approval of purchase orders going to a financial manager, etc., we use an app called Approval Max. Payroll, you have Simple Pay and Sage Payroll. Document processing, Receipt Bank, and auto entry. What document processing basically is, you can scan a tax invoice, and the system will actually process that document for you with the necessary date, reference, tax, amounts, everything is correct. You just have to allocate it.
So it's OCRing. It's OCRing, yes. Right? So yeah, okay. So you can do it on your phone. Just scan it quickly on your phone, and then it goes through to your system.
Exactly. Yeah, and what traditionally happened is clients actually manually had to type that into their systems. Now it's all automated. And of course, we use analytics to Insight for reporting. The story there I'll go into later on, but you can have all your data at your fingertips. So you don't have to go to numerous different sources to consolidate different data. You use one app and you have all the data at your fingertips. So of course you're more efficient and adding more value to the client's data. And then we use Sage Pay for payment solutions. We don't use all these apps for every client. We basically analyze the client's needs and then implement based on those needs.
So you would basically go in and assess what is the customer, what type of business do they have, so you're working with Sage on the one and Xero on the other. What is the best fit for their way of processing or working, and then you would then see how do they policies and procedures, their processes work. Do they need something like control, like an approval workflow, or do they have a bunch of expenses and receipts? Do they run a bunch of expenses, therefore they would require something like the receipt bank, for instance? Or do they have a need to analyze or have reports around their business, which I guess is a standard. At least the reporting is a standard in the accounting business, like income statement, balance sheet, trial balance. But do they have a need for other reports within their business? And then like the payment solutions here. Sage Pay, I guess that's the e-commerce payment system. So if they're running the e-commerce type business, then you would implement something like that for them. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a success plan for each client, and we we give the client an investment summary before we start the rollout.
Yeah.
So they know after 3 months period they will have this and this and this, and this is the value they will have from the investment.
Excellent. Excellent. Jason Coggon, let's go to you. So that was the intro. Thanks, John. We'll get back to you. Really going to pick your brain about the 80%. Yeah, I'm going to pick your brain around that. So Jace, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So you're the head of InoTech, so our innovation and technology area in the business in modernizing management. So maybe talk us through what you do for MM. On the analytics to insights platform. Yeah.
Well, pretty much everything, I guess. But yeah, no, everything from the system side of things. So was pretty much the one that developed, I guess, the whole platform from a core technology perspective from the ground up. Yeah. And then managing all the team with the development cycles and developing the apps and collecting the data and everything else. So yeah, pretty much from end to end.
Excellent. So you're doing the solutioning, managing. Yeah, of course, there's a team, so you're not doing everything yourself. Although sometimes it does feel like it. Gotta be honest. But yeah, so the development management, making sure that good accounting principles and financial principles are followed. Of course, with we have accountants that we work with, and then of course the delivery management. So making sure new versions are released as well. Great. So before we go to, we're going to get you to come back and maybe tell us a little bit about the newest release, Jace, at the end. But before we go to interrogate John further, let's do another poll just quickly. The poll is, what type of stakeholder are you? So let's launch that so that we just know from the audience. Are you guys bookkeepers working in practice, or are you bookkeeper working in business, for a SME or for a mid-tier? So far, okay, definitely bookkeepers working in practice and a couple of others. Great. So we actually have nobody here at the moment that's working in business, because we send the invitations to all the bookkeepers. Awesome. Okay, so let's go to the next slide then, Jace. Thanks everybody. So I'll end that poll. Let's go to the next slide. So we have some questions here, John. So really wanna understand how you got to the 80%. So if we take it from the top, what are the, if you look at the accounting industry today, what are the main challenges that you see and that your customers are talking to you about the accounting industry, and being a company that has to work in this industry, and of course seeing being faced with these challenges?
So it will definitely be tech. Compliance basically stays the same. SOurce changes the laws every year or adjust them on minor detail, but the technology is the biggest factor. So if you look at the accounting industry over 5 years' time, 5 years ago, we used to type in bank statements by the hand according to the bank statement. Nowadays, we use Bank Manager and bank feeds. So we start to automate more and more. And obviously, the bookkeeper or the accountant, they allocate less time to the client's books, but they add more value because at the end of the day, the billing stays the same.
Or the billing is increased, right? So, I mean, with the value add.
The billing must be based on value, not on...
Yes, exactly.
Since you use less time.
So value-based pricing, yeah.
Yes. So it's definitely technology. And also the clients are a bit resistant moving to the cloud currently. And also your traditional bookkeepers are resistant to taking on the new technology.
Why would you say they are resistant to moving to cloud?
It's something new.
Okay.
The human is traditionally resistant to change. So they're used to doing everything in the same way as they used to.
Okay.
And you will only see the advantage or the benefits of using cloud after it has already been implemented. There's one bookkeeping firm that told me, why should they asked me why should they change? And I told them, in 3 years' time or 2 years' time, you will see change, and then it's too late to start moving all your clients.
Yeah.
So I do tend to see a lot of the clients that migrate to cloud accounting provide us feedback and tell us, listen, they want an accountant or an advisor that can deliver service based on their cloud accounting data. And that's where we usually advise an nearest accounting in their area. Or if they already have an accountant, we upskill that accountant to use the cloud accounting data. We tend to see a lot of the accountants we upskill start migrating all their other clients to cloud accounting. And the benefits is definitely there. It's all in automation. You have less manual work that has to be done. And it's all about data at the end of the day. The data is there. You don't need backups anymore. You just log in and you have the data.
So that's, I think you mentioned one of the core things about cloud. I guess, anybody that runs a kind of company software on their desktop or on a server in a company has to think about how do they protect, of course, that data? How do they secure that machine because it is hardware? What's the life cycle of a machine? And running all the backups, running all the, every time these days it seems that when you do a upgrade to your operating system, things stop working, etc., etc. Whereas with cloud, I mean, it is infrastructure as a service. It is what is it, PaaS, the platform as a service, and you get the SaaS as a service, and everything just runs, right? So the backups are being done, the security comes with the platform, and you don't need to manage anything internally. But you do need the internet connection or from a device.
And what cloud technology basically enabled is your accountant does not need to focus on an IT infrastructure anymore.
Exactly.
They can focus on what they do best, and that's advising a client based on their accounting.
100%. So how can accounting companies better prepare for the change? So we see that the momentum of moving to cloud is at least increasing. So how can what if you had to pick three things that companies should do now in order to prepare them, what would they be?
I would definitely put upskilling themselves as priority number one.
Okay.
Go and research the best accounting software there is based on cloud accounting.
Yeah.
The two that I would advise is definitely Sage Accounting and Xero. Start specializing in those two. Number two, definitely start planning a rollout phase for all your clients moving to the cloud. Just an example, the other day an accountant gave us a scenario where they told us, listen, last year we mined 600,000 Rand of migration from clients. So
that's amazing.
That's additional money they made last year just based on migrating clients from desktop to cloud accounting.
So you can make money migrating customers.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
at the same time, you're upskilling yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a win-win scenario.
Yeah. So what are your customers' challenges? I mean, specifically to you, what's the most common thing, for instance, when a new customer comes to you? What are their challenges? What are they facing? Is it I think that the two accounting platforms that you mentioned, which is Xero and Sage, or Sage and Xero, they come with a whole bunch of they come with an ecosystem, right? So Xero has hundreds of third-party tools, and so does Sage. So
yes.
if you look at your customers specifically, I mean, what are the major? Where do you see the areas for growth, or what are their biggest challenges? Is it in financial literacy? Is it growing their companies? What is it?
So biggest challenges would probably be the infrastructure relating to internet accessibility.
Okay.
If the infrastructure for internet access isn't there, you can't migrate the client. Even though cloud might be the preferred solution for them and the ideal solution, you can't migrate them if the infrastructure isn't correct. So in South Africa, the infrastructure isn't perfect everywhere. We do tend to see in cities cloud accountants migrate all their clients to cloud accounting because the infrastructure is ready to adopt cloud.
Yeah.
And then the other
let's just put it out there. So you mainly work in farming, right? So you're in the Western Cape area, and you're working with the big agriculture businesses, etc. And that's why infrastructure for you is a challenge, because of the remote. They're quite remote, these farms, and where they work from.
We don't just focus on Western Cape. We do focus at the rest of South Africa also.
Yeah, you do fly up here to Joburg and visit.
But an ideal example is farmers. On most of these locations where their offices are, there is no internet accessibility. So the client usually needs to adapt, start working at home, work from anywhere, because your data is cloud.
Yeah, exactly.
And another obstacle we face is we tend to see financial managers that they're fixed in their ways, like traditional accountants. They don't want to adopt the cloud accounting because they see themselves retiring in 3-4 years. Why should they change? And they literally need to make this decision for the future, because it's actually the next generation that's going to start using the system.
Such a good point you make there, like a really good point. Whenever we've been involved, we haven't been able to. We were traveling when Xero had their roadshow in South Africa, So we did the Sage Roadshow, and it's amazing because you're sitting there and you're asking, who here, just to see, and you're sitting with a room of 200 accountants and 200 representing accounting companies, and you ask, who here are growing their businesses, and everybody puts up their hands, and then who are moving to cloud, and then it's like, it's you can see the progressive ones are the younger, the younger guys, but you want to grow your business, but you want to keep it the same, and I don't know if that's a good idea. You're going to find yourself working, doing a lot more work, to earn your money versus, moving to cloud where you can do a lot more with a lot less and take advantage of all the benefits that comes with cloud. So
these accountants that adapted to the new technology, they're they're seeing a lot of growth.
Yes, exactly.
Much more profitability, and clients really come in and ask them to assist them.
Exactly.
So
I moved to Sage in 2014, and I moved from my desktop to Sage, the cloud account. Right? So now there's a lot more options, obviously. But I mean, it's the best decision I've made. It gives you complete visibility of your accounting as a company owner. You have to, and the first version of the A2I Sage solution that we built is actually the one we've been using in our company for 5 years now. Yeah. So let me move over to the next question, John. What kind of advisory services are you offering to your customers?
So it's basically specialization in cloud accounting and optimizing current mundane processes to be automated in their daily working environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the advisory service we do, and then we also have some business consulting, and we tend to outsource this to the accountants because clients, they need someone they trust to guide them through that growth period and assist them using their data on a more functional level, using that data to predict better decisions or make better decisions, provide insight on the data.
Yeah, 100%. So it's around the planning, planning and then execution, based on the plan, right? You make a plan and you start executing, and you have your engagements with your accountant every month or every second week or however often, and being able to track and monitor that, are you growing the business the way you have planned, right? So how do you, well, we've talked a lot actually about how you enable your customers. So let's go to the next question is why did you partner on the analytics to insights solution or solutions? Yeah.
So we research a lot of reporting applications out there. Most of them are overseas and very expensive because you have to pay $rand. And we were part of another application, well-known South African application that did reporting. But the business and all our clients' needs just expanded to a level where we couldn't use that application anymore. And I think it was 4 or 5 months ago, I found out about Analytics to Insight. And I contacted you, and we had a meeting, and you showed me the application. And it was basically everything we needed to be based on reporting. And it's very easy to get your own data from Analytics to Insight because you can basically select your own dimensions or fields that you require and build your own report based on the needs or report that you require. You're not in a set report framework. You can go and create your own.
Yeah, okay. Great.
And I see then the next point there about productivity. An example might be or is one of our clients. It's a very big group of it's 6 companies. They require consolidation needs on a monthly management reporting level. And they basically spend about 3 weeks just consolidating all the information of all the companies. And that's where analytics, the insight came in. And it enabled me to basically select all those the companies and consolidate them and report on each one individually. And that
Nice.
literally takes about, let's say, nine seconds, just selecting the correct dimension. Previously, it took the financial manager and us for advisory service about 3 weeks on and off to compile a monthly management report on that kind of level. Because there's a lot of data.
Is that customer happy to pay for that? That 3 weeks worth of work. I mean,
no, 3 weeks. They paid it on a monthly basis, but when we started to automate the whole process, they were really impressed. We actually trained the client afterwards to go and use the app on their own.
Nice.
And it's a user-friendly application. So we basically deliver more value now because we advise the client based on those reports.
Excellent.
We don't what's the word? Allocate a lot of time compiling reports anymore. We allocate time adding value to the reports.
Exactly. So going through, exploring the data, analyzing, using your financial acumen to what it actually should be, which is to find opportunities and grow your customer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
let's sorry, John.
So that's basically the advantages of using cloud.
Great. That's a great example. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. So let's run another poll before we go over to Jace. So I'll launch another poll that says, what type of accounting ecosystem products are you using today? So you can do a multiple choice option on this if you want. So let's see if anybody is going to participate in the poll. Yeah. Okay. Looking good. So we're even on the scanning solution. So okay, now it's changing again. Let's see. We have practice management doing well. Reporting has the most votes at the moment. So everybody seems to be using some type of reporting. And guys, Excel doesn't count. Okay. Okay. Just kidding. It's fine. You can use Excel. So thanks everybody. Let's stop the poll. If everybody is finished over there, let's end the poll and then go to Jace. Jace, so maybe you can then tell us, a little bit about analytics insights then.
Sure, no problem at all. So, I mean, obviously the biggest thing about analytics to insights is literally integrating with your cloud data. That's our biggest piece that we do. So we'll integrate with your, Xero, your Sage 1 or Sage Business Cloud Accounting, and then soon to be QuickBooks, and go fetch all that information and then produce an application for you in the end to actually go analyze that information. And obviously, we've tried to create the best-in-class analytics around that as well, to provide you insights on your data as well in that. But we don't just stop there. So because life is busy and everything, so that's why we have Amy, right? So Amy allowing us to interact with your application or with your data through your mobile device, laptop, tablet, whatever it is. And then also on the mobile side, I mean, the big thing. Remembering that the solution itself is available on any type of platform. So be it phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, it doesn't matter. It will size itself to that different platform or to those different devices, which is a key thing, which we wanted to make sure that the users had and didn't have to worry about now having to always have their laptop with them or anything like that.
Yeah, and you have the apps for the mobiles, right? And then Amy is the bot, obviously. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. And then obviously on the mobile side, with JP mentioning the apps being, the key thing now with, like Jean was mentioning, your network being an issue, and especially if you're going out to rural places, is that you're able to make offline copies of your application, so that you can actually get an offline copy of it and then go out and see your customer and physically navigate that application as if you were on the web.
Yeah, so all the data is then stored on your device, which is
correct.
Really nice. So from cloud stored onto the device. Yeah, very nice.
Correct. Yeah.
So here you have some. So data is the foundation of the new economy. So I totally believe in that. I think well as history, and I mean, we're creating data and analyzing data pretty much every day, and making data driven or derived decisions every day, right? If we're not, then I don't know what to use to make good, insightful decisions. So then of course, if you need to be able to analyze your data in order to discover or find some insights, and insights is then what leads you to transform your businesses. So it's about insights, to create opportunities within the customer's business, and to kind of help them to grow their business through finding insights, which customers to grow, which expenses to decrease, etc. It's all there.
Correct. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Cool. So then obviously, if we, like I discussed earlier, if we look at the value proposition then as well, so being the whole starting from the different service to looking at the data exploration, the automated integrations, which is now connecting to your different cloud solutions that you use. And bear in mind, we are growing at a sort of rapid pace as well. So, we have started with Sage. It's our most mature product that there is. Xero is now soon to be catching up with that. Then obviously QuickBooks coming out, and then obviously the next moving onwards from there, going out. And then, still being able to obviously provide the static reporting. I guess we can't get away from that yet, unfortunately. That's just my thing. But so yeah, there's always the need for the static reporting, your income statement, balance sheet, trial balance, management reports, things like that we're trying to improve. And yeah, I would say definitely watch the space. We're going to start creating some, since we have to do reports, we're going to create some much better reports, should I say.
Okay, excellent. Good to hear that. Yeah. So what reports? You said income statement, balance sheet, trial balance.
Management report.
Management report, yeah.
And I can't remember the last one. Yeah. Performance report. Yeah. Yes.
And then working on two others, I think I recall from the slide. So okay. Yes. So Swift reporting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Swift reporting piece.
Yeah. Okay.
So bearing in mind that is constantly connected to your app, so it's connected to your data as well. So we don't build separate reports off of separate data. It is connected to your app, which then the Swift reporting product will deliver the report to you. We know that email is not there yet. Email is coming next. So not only when you subscribe to a report and you pick a time, you won't have to go manually download it. It will be emailed to you. So that's one of the new things coming. And then also you'll be able to run reports directly from your analytics application. So we're creating specific ones based on separate sheets where you can then make your necessary selections and then download that report while you're in your analytical app itself.
Right, so that's the on-demand reporting, right? So correct, as needed and when needed. Yep. Okay. Talk us quickly through advisory, so your stories and collaboration.
Yeah, definitely. So a huge feature that's there, and it's a way for you to use your analytical application, capture insights that you're picking up. Either you're analyzing your customers' data or your own information. Based on selections that you're picking, you're creating these snapshots, and now you can take all these snapshots and compile a story, which then now you can obviously present during a meeting, or at least keep creating these monthly sort of stories for you to see how things are progressing on that. through, and they literally like an online PowerPoint slide.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
the simplest way to.
And it's a snapshot, so every month you're going back to the customer and updating, and you're monitoring, seeing what actions, what context that we create, and how have we improved the business month on month or week on week or whatever. I see there's a question here. Are you going to show some more reporting using the application? We will show a little bit the new features here, so we will show that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Thanks, Jace.
Cool.
So what's next? Okay, so basically how you are providing the advisory services, right?
Yes. So I mean, obviously doing the research on the customer's data, planning, so utilizing the integrated scenario planning. So obviously, sorry, going back to the research, obviously using the application for what it's intended to do your data discovery, your drill downs, your slicing and dicing and everything from there, analyzing that data itself. But then not only taking that data and being able to do planning. Right? So we obviously have the integrated scenario planning. We have the three-way planning, we have the budgetary, all that stuff. So where you can now create your own different scenarios based on predictions that obviously we give you predictions based on forecasting algorithms that we built in. But you can also put your own forecasted sort of plans in there, create different scenarios, and now actually see how those scenarios are changed. So you can actually save a scenario, save it as scenario A, and then create another scenario, save it as scenario B, and then being able to change between the two, and how does that affect your net profit, sales, expenses, cost of sales, everything like that.
And then of course you have your budgets in there, so you can see actuals, budgets, and your scenarios or that running. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good. So let's go to the next slide. So basically, well, before we do actually, so on the left hand side here, you have that's the back office work, and that goes into a Sage or a Zero, and then we actually take that data and we have the pre-built reports and analytical views, and then you have the self-service capability, of course, well, which we'll get into now. So let's go to the next slide and see.
Yeah, I guess a very good point there also, JP, is the, and sorry we didn't touch it, but Amy's got her other trick up her sleeve is obviously the alerts, because not only can we or should we live and constantly check our data or information, that if it's changing in that, we can at least now ask Amy to set up alerts for us. So either based on should something change in the data based on sales, expenses, your different ratios, or you actually just want to be notified every morning, every afternoon, and every evening of what those values are from a month-to-date, year-to-date perspective.
So scheduled alerts.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, so then obviously talking about some of the latest release stuff coming. So the new application version for both Sage and Zero was published during the weekend. I know it's not the other platform, but we did publish our new Twitter app as well. So we did do a big launch. But at least from the Sage side, so what we've now incorporated is the dynamic report, which Jean did speak a little bit about, but I'll show you. And then we've now also enabled the self-service piece, which allows you to now go and create your own analytical views, dashboards, everything based off the governed measures and dimensions and actual visualizations in the system. And then obviously if you're struggling a bit and you need to find some insight out of your data, that's where we've now enabled the insights functionality, which I'll show you a bit as well.
Great.
So let's just move over to that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. I'm probably logged out, so let's just make sure I'm still in here. Okay, so obviously what we're talking about is the dynamic report. So let's go ahead and jump into that straight. So you'll find, well, not only that, you'll find that the layout has also changed quite a bit from the previous application that you've been using and that. So you'll see up front that we've got still the financial performance exceptions. Then we've got the forecasting pieces now in there. Within the dynamic reports, all your reporting, cash flow statements, still the predictive stuff. And then we've done a lot of consolidation and sort of cleaning, and still in the process of it as well. So we've tried to optimize things as much as possible. So we've gone, obviously initial version was quite large, everything was separate, and now we're starting to put things together into pieces and that, based on feedback and everything else as well. But let's go ahead and jump into the dynamic report. So pretty much the same as what the income statement, balance sheet, all the traditional reports are there, except this allows you now to create your own report, as Ron said earlier as well. So there's many ways to obviously look at it. So we can start off from report categories. So we've broken up these things into the different categories where you want to focus on customers, inventory, reporting styled dimension measures, or supplier. So if we have a look at customer, for example, you'll then see the dimensions and measures that are applicable to customer-based stuff. And what this allows me to do now is obviously I can pick a customer as a dimension, and I can say sales exclusive, okay, as my measure. And that will then go and build the report for me. But now I also then want to add in the invoice numbers, for example. And that will then obviously go build the report further for me, and so on and so forth. I can keep on adding and adding my measures and my dimensions. But not only that, I can move things around as well. So if I don't want customer to be first, I can obviously take customer and move it in front of invoice number. So it allows you to also move items around in that. And then when you're done, you can now right click, say export, and say export data to Excel.
Well, I mean, yeah, accountants love Excel, of course. So, but can you save it so that so once you've created it, you can just come back and get it again? Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, after you're happy with your selections and that, you can now go create a bookmark for yourself, and I can say that this is now customer invoice sales, and accept that. So now that bookmark is stored for me. So the next time I log in, I can actually click on that and it will make the necessary selections for me to build the report.
Very nice. So it's pretty much, it's like your dynamic report, but it's completely up to you what you want to see in the report. So it's completely up to the accountant or the customer or whatever. Okay, great.
Correct. And what we also did is we made the report not focus on a dimension level at all. So if you wanted to know your high level measures, for example, you could literally select each of the measures and it will give you the totals there as well quickly.
Nice.
Yeah. And being as it is the system that we have, everything is filter based. So if I'm picking the latest year, and latest month, for example, I will then the data will filter accordingly as well.
Very good.
Okay. Then obviously moving over to the self-service piece. So what you'll get is any sheet in this application that you see, you are now as a user able to duplicate. So you can actually duplicate the physical sheet. When you do duplicate it, it becomes a part of your My Sheets option. So this is only for you. It's visible just to you at this current moment. That's what the My Sheets means. If you do want, say that you've created some awesome analytics and you want to share this now with everyone else that's got access to the application, you can then there afterwards publish it. And then whoever you've given access to this application can now also view the analytics that you've built as well around that. But let's go dig deeper into here. So I'm taking an example where I've created a blank new sheet because I want to actually create my own thing. So you'll have the edit option, and the sort of options that you have available is what we call master items. So these are pre-configured dimensions, measures, and visualizations that are available at your disposal. And what I mean by that is if I take the expenses by types, for example, I can drag this in and I want to actually see now my expenses by type and use that visualization that exists. Or if I want to create my own, I then have access to the charts section where I can now, for example, bring in a tree map, and I want to see now my tree map broken up by customers, And how do I want to actually consolidate the customers? I want to consolidate them by total exclusive. And there's my object done. Right, now I have my sheet completed, everything, and I can actually now keep on building or change or whatever the case is.
But it's already interactive, right? So you can start
Correct.
selecting and interacting with it immediately. Yeah.
Correct.
So it's basically creating a dashboard for each user.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've exposed all the data in using, well, in the governed libraries. So you can completely customize how you want to visualize your data.
Correct.
Yeah. Or your customer can say.
Yeah. People love
or
that.
Great.
Exactly. Or if you're a little bit stuck and you want to actually let the system help you, that's where the insights comes in. So what the insights will do is it'll actually go and analyze the entire data set that's available in your application, and then being able to suggest specific charts to you, but not just suggest charts. You can also then start changing it where you can actually go pick a customer, for example. So I wanted to generate insights based on customer names, which then it will obviously generate specific charts for me, but then I can go ahead and I'll let it first generate the charts for me. Obviously bearing in mind that the first time you do this, it is slower, and as you start using the insights more and more, it starts speeding up. Because it starts, every time you're doing this, it's actually learning your data and understanding your data as it's going through and being used to see how you use it on that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add the total exclusive.
Maybe while that runs, you can talk about things that we are working on, Jason. I'm just cognizant of the time. Maybe show the presentation quickly, and then let it run. You have quite many companies under your profile, I suppose.
Yeah, correct.
Lots of data.
Yeah. So obviously the work in progress at the moment is we've got the newly designed Insights Hub coming soon. So
that's where you configure and update your profile and see your billing and all of that information. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So we've definitely come up with an awesome new design around that, and we've simplified the process immensely from what it was before. So there's
excellent,
humongous changes on that side. And not only that, we are literally integrating the analytical application into the Insights Hub as well. So you have one place for everything then.
Yeah, nice.
So no longer need to hop around. Then obviously we're busy with the new P&L structured reports as well. So we've got access to some new sort of reporting objects that we're actually building some much better accounting based sort of reports, structured how accountants like reports to be structured. And that's coming soon. Then obviously we're working on a loan calculation and scenario on account level planning. So the loan calculation allowing you initially at least to put in a loan amount that you're interested in, what's the interest rate, all that, and what's your terms, and then showing you how is it going to, what's it look like from a month-to-month perspective on impact and everything else. So including your bank balance, so then you'll be able to pick a bank account that loan is coming from, and it will start showing you how is that loan going to affect your cash flow in the foreseeable future and that.
Okay.
And then, as we mentioned, 2 new reports as well. So static reports, one being the GP analysis and the others being the cash flow statement report that we're busy developing.
Yeah, we already have the cash flow statement in the management report, but it's then a self-standing, I guess, single report. Yeah.
Correct. Yes,
GP analysis, we do GP on customer level, invoice, item and category, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you can do your GP on any level. Okay, great.
Exactly. And then obviously being able to get your reports via Amy. So either download on the mobile or then ask Amy just to email it to you. The choice will be yours from that sort of things. And then, as we mentioned, the QuickBooks application launch coming soon.
Third integration, very nice. Okay, let's go back to the app. Has it finished doing its work? Not yet, still spinning its wheels. Okay, you have a lot of data, dude. You need to make it a little bit
too much.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe some Q&A. If I thanks everybody. So if I pop poll over there. So did you find the webinar useful? You know, all of us are saying little quiet prayers at the moment. Yeah, so let's hope that everybody found the webinar useful, insightful. Obviously, something new, not time wasted. If you can type your chat, your questions into the chat, then we can address those if you like. So if you want some, if you have some questions, we'd be happy to address those now.
While the people are busy
JC,
typing their chats, then just to sort of see that with the insights generated, so that's what I meant is it will look at your data and start suggesting chart objects to you, which then there afterwards you can actually now say add to sheet, and it will literally add it to your sheet. So when I go back, there's my new object, which now I can change and add and everything else from that side. Yeah.
So the system will generate views for you on your data to recommend those to you. Okay, excellent. Yeah. And then it's going to learn, you know, so if you say it's useful, then it will generate more of those. Yeah. Sorry, correct, John, yes. Did you have something?
JC, do you have some data for a consolidation of income statement there, maybe?
You mean a consolidated view for income statement?
Yes. So maybe we should show the attendees where you basically select each company or you filter each company. I know accountants love that kind of functionality.
Fair enough. So I mean, yeah, we've had this at least from day one. So with no company selected, this is all your companies underneath it. So obviously, if I open up sales, I'll see all my different accounts that are available and my years that are here. Maybe what people didn't know, and I know we've been mentioning a couple of our demos, and that is, for example, these items are movable. So I can literally take my categories, rather move them over to the right, take my year, place it over onto the left, and now I've got at least, sorry, let's move my category around. Now I've got it by categories on top, years on the side there, and then I can obviously open up each one and see for each month. But then, like you were asking, is being able to filter. So that's literally by picking a different company. That's now the data for that company itself.
Yeah.
And then we have the consolidated views, obviously, as well. So you can see all your companies next to each other on an income statement, balance sheet, or cash flow statement. So, and we created like a whole bunch of views that looks at profitability and comparing different companies.
Yeah. So not only that, then obviously that's the consolidated one, or then one that's already broken up by the different companies for you.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
So let's see. So Craig has been monitoring the chat. Let's see. Are they? Yeah. Okay. So this webinar was recorded, and we will be sharing it post the event. So thanks, Dean. Thanks for that question. And then, I guess that we did show some of the reports, but I guess the next poll is that would you like us to contact you after the event with a demo? So if you're interested to be contacted, then just let us know. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. Thanks, John, for your time. Much appreciated. Really, appreciate your feedback, your insights, what you sharing with us what you know about the market and the value you and your company are creating for your customers and your partners. So thanks a million for your time and participating here with us today. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. Yeah.
No problem.
Great. Cool. Thanks, everybody. We're saving you 5 minutes of your day, so have a good one, and maybe have a beer on us. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.